In a world filled with uncertainty, the latest developments in Iran and Africa are capturing global attention. Tensions escalate as the ceasefire hangs by a thread, while humanitarian crises unfold in Nigeria. Here are today's top 10 stories you need to know. In Latin America, new trade agreements are being forged as countries seek to strengthen economic ties amidst a challenging global landscape. These agreements aim to enhance cooperation in various sectors, including agriculture, technology, and renewable energy. Leaders are optimistic that these collaborations will spur economic growth and job creation in the region. However, challenges remain, including political instability and varying economic conditions across countries. The success of these agreements will depend on effective implementation and the ability to navigate existing obstacles. As nations work towards greater integration, the potential for economic transformation in Latin America could reshape the region's future. Policymakers will need to ensure that these agreements benefit all parties involved, fostering sustainable development and resilience against future economic shocks. Tensions between Russia and Ukraine have once again resurfaced, with military movements reported along the border. This escalation is being closely watched by NATO and other international entities concerned about potential aggression. The situation is particularly alarming given the history of conflict between the two nations. Analysts fear that renewed hostilities could lead to a broader regional conflict, further destabilizing Eastern Europe. Diplomatic efforts are being attempted, but both sides remain entrenched in their positions. As the threat of conflict looms, the risk of miscalculations increases, raising the stakes for both nations. The international community is urged to facilitate dialogue to prevent an escalation that could have disastrous consequences. The coming days will be critical in determining the direction of this ongoing geopolitical crisis. A political crisis is unfolding in Central America as protests erupt against government corruption and economic mismanagement. Citizens are demanding accountability and transparency from their leaders, leading to widespread demonstrations across several countries. The unrest has raised concerns about stability in the region as calls for change grow louder. International observers are closely monitoring the situation, worried that escalating violence could undermine democratic processes. In response, some governments have initiated dialogue with opposition groups, hoping to quell tensions and restore order. However, skepticism remains among the public, who question the sincerity of leadership efforts. The political landscape in Central America is precarious, and the potential for further unrest looms large. As the situation evolves, the international community will need to engage constructively to support democratic institutions and promote peaceful resolution. A new variant of COVID-19 has been detected, raising alarms among health officials worldwide. Preliminary studies indicate that this variant may exhibit increased transmissibility, prompting concerns about potential outbreaks and challenges to vaccination efforts. Health authorities are urging the public to remain vigilant and adhere to safety protocols in light of this development. While vaccinations have significantly reduced severe cases, the emergence of new variants highlights the ongoing need for global cooperation in monitoring and responding to the pandemic. Countries are ramping up genomic surveillance to track the spread of this variant and assess its impact on vaccine efficacy. As scientists work to understand this new strain, public health messaging will be crucial in maintaining confidence in vaccination programs. The coming weeks will be critical for health systems as they respond to this evolving situation and prepare for any necessary adjustments to public health guidelines. Severe flooding in eastern India has caused widespread destruction, displacing thousands and leading to significant loss of life. The heavy monsoon rains that triggered the floods have overwhelmed riverbanks and inundated entire communities. Local authorities are struggling to provide relief and rescue services amid the chaos, as many roads and infrastructure have been rendered unusable. Humanitarian organizations are mobilizing to assist those affected, but access remains a challenge. The floods have also raised concerns about waterborne diseases, as stagnant water poses health risks to the displaced population. Recovery efforts will likely take months, with the economic impact on agriculture and local businesses expected to be profound. As the situation develops, the government is under pressure to improve disaster preparedness and response capabilities for future incidents. The resilience of local communities will be tested as they work to rebuild their lives in the wake of this natural disaster. Wildfires continue to devastate parts of southern Europe, with firefighters struggling to contain the flames amid extreme heat and dry conditions. Countries like Greece and Spain are experiencing some of the worst wildfire seasons on record, which has led to widespread evacuations and emergency responses. These fires have destroyed thousands of acres of land, including homes and natural habitats, raising urgent questions about climate resilience and the effectiveness of fire management strategies. The current situation is exacerbated by a prolonged heat wave and drought, conditions that have become increasingly common due to climate change. Local authorities are urging residents to remain vigilant as the fire season is projected to be extended, with changing weather patterns contributing to this trend. Environmental experts warn that wildfires could become more frequent and severe in the coming years, underscoring the need for comprehensive policies to mitigate climate impacts. As communities face the aftermath of these disasters, international support for recovery efforts will be vital to help rebuild and enhance preparedness for future challenges ahead. Geopolitical tensions are escalating in the South China Sea as military exercises by China draw condemnation from neighboring countries. These drills, which involve naval forces and live fire exercises, have raised alarms among Southeast Asian nations concerned about China's growing assertiveness. Historically, this region has been a flashpoint due to overlapping territorial claims, primarily involving China, Vietnam, the Philippines, and other nations. The United States has responded by reaffirming its commitment to support allies in the area, complicating the situation further. Analysts warn that this military posturing could lead to miscalculations, increasing the risk of confrontation at sea, which could spiral into larger conflicts. The potential for clashes over territorial claims not only threatens regional stability, but also has far-reaching implications for global trade routes that pass through these waters. As diplomatic efforts are launched to de-escalate tensions, the challenge remains significant. The stakes are high, and as nations navigate this intricate geopolitical landscape, robust dialogue and strategic partnerships will be crucial to avert a crisis. The economic landscape for developing nations is becoming increasingly dire as inflation rates soar and essential goods become unaffordable for millions. Recent data reveals that countries already struggling with the pandemic's aftermath are now facing a compounded crisis due to ongoing disruptions in global supply chains. This has led to a spike in food insecurity, prompting protests and civil unrest in several regions, from Latin America to Africa. Governments are scrambling to implement policies to stabilize their economies, yet many are met with resistance from citizens frustrated by the slow pace of recovery and rising costs of living. International organizations, including the IMF and World Bank, have stepped in, calling for urgent financial assistance and debt relief to support these struggling nations. However, the path to recovery is fraught with challenges, including entrenched governance issues and widespread corruption that undermine reform efforts. As the situation continues to evolve, it is crucial for the global community to devise effective strategies that empower these nations to rebuild. The coming months will be critical in determining how these countries can effectively navigate their economic hardships and restore stability. In a shocking turn of events, Chad has launched airstrikes against Boko Haram positions, leading to fears for the safety of local fishermen. Reports indicate that dozens of Nigerian fishermen are feared dead following these military operations aimed at dismantling the militant group. Boko Haram has been a significant threat in the Lake Chad Basin, where it has carried out numerous attacks, disrupting lives and livelihoods. The airstrikes are part of a broader regional effort involving neighboring countries like Nigeria and Cameroon to combat the violent insurgency that has plagued the area for over a decade. This latest offensive underscores the ongoing security challenges faced by Chad, which has struggled to maintain stability amid rising extremism. Human rights organizations have raised alarms about the potential collateral damage from such military actions, emphasizing the need for measures to protect civilians caught in the crossfire. As the conflict rages on, local economies, particularly fishing industries, are likely to suffer, exacerbating humanitarian needs in the region. With thousands already displaced, the situation remains dire. The next steps will be crucial for Chad as it seeks to balance military action with humanitarian considerations, ensuring that aid reaches those most affected by the violence. Tensions in the Middle East have reached a critical juncture as Iran vows to continue its military actions despite ongoing ceasefire negotiations. President Trump stated that the ceasefire is currently on life support, with both sides engaging in increasingly hostile rhetoric. This escalation follows a series of drone attacks attributed to Iran, which have targeted various locations, including commercial ships in the vital Persian Gulf. Historically, this region has been a flashpoint for geopolitical conflicts, given its significance to global oil supplies. The situation has raised profound concerns among international observers about the potential for a broader conflict that could further destabilize an already volatile area. Analysts warn that if the ceasefire collapses, it could lead to significant military confrontations, severely impacting oil prices and disrupting key international trade routes. The consequences of renewed hostilities may also lead to a humanitarian crisis, with civilians caught in the crossfire facing dire circumstances. As diplomatic efforts are underway to salvage the fragile peace, both sides show little willingness to compromise. The future remains uncertain, hinging on international diplomatic engagement. In the coming days, the effectiveness of these negotiations will be tested, determining whether a path back to stability can be forged or if the region will descend into chaos once again. Thank you for joining us today. Which story shocked you the most? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.